Body cam video showing the arrest of Donna Adelson. She is the mother-in-law of murdered Florida State University law professor Dan Markell. Adelson and her husband were about to board a flight to Vietnam when she was taken into custody last November. She has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation in connection with her ex-son-in-law's death a decade ago.
What the?
What's wrong?
They got my pictures on display.
What the hell? Where did those come from?
Hi everybody, it's me, AV. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things law, true crime, and a little bit of debauchery. Listen, we have Donna Adelson's trial starting in legit a few days. I cannot wait. You guys have been all over this. Some of you guys have followed the case for years, and some of you are just now getting into it. The latest filings could change everything. Today, I'm breaking down the renewed motion in limine, the full witness list, and new details from digital evidence, including emails and text messages that prosecutors say tie Donna directly to this conspiracy. And trust me, what we're seeing paints a much clearer picture of her state of mind heading into this trial. For anyone that's new to this case, Donna Adelson is the matriarch, I'm calling her the queen pin grandma, of the Adelson family, charged in the 2014 murder of Florida State law professor Dan Markell. Her children, Charlie and Wendy, have both been named on the witness list, and KDM, one of the convicted co-conspirators and Charlie's ex-girlfriend, testified about the family's involvement back in her own trial. Donna's trial officially begins on August 19th, but before that, we'll have a key hearing on August 8th. That hearing will set the stage for what the jury is allowed to hear. Let's walk through three of the most important documents on the table right now. First up, Donna's renewed motion in limine. The defense is asking the court to exclude evidence about her travel plans as a sign of consciousness of guilt. Remember, when Donna was arrested, she was literally at the airport about to board a flight to Vietnam. Why Vietnam? Because Vietnam has very limited extradition agreements with the United States, meaning that if she made it there, prosecutors might have never been able to bring her back to face trial. So the prosecution wants the jury to hear this, while the defense is fighting hard to keep it out, arguing it would unfairly prejudice the jurors. In other words, the jury might see her travel as confession without her saying a word. All right, so let's jump on into the first one. This was filed last week on July 21st. This is defendant's renewed motion in limine, travel as consciousness of guilt. Let's see what Donna's team is arguing here. Renews her August 12, 2024 motion to preclude evidence of her travel as consciousness of guilt. Prior counsel filed their motion to preclude evidence Donna Adelson's travel as consciousness of guilt. On August 30th, 2024, a few days later, the court denied this motion. Judge Everett says, I do believe this is a matter that goes to weight versus admissibility. The finder of fact here, that's the jury, is going to determine whether Miss Adelson was in fact merely researching a vacation, or if she was in fact seeking to avoid prosecution, or this is consciousness of guilt. Really, it's not for the court to exclude as it is relevant and probative. So here, Judge Everett denied the motion, saying that this information is relevant and the jury should hear it. This has already been ruled upon with prior counsel, meaning that Donna had previous attorneys and now her new attorneys before the upcoming trial in a few days, they're trying to bring this back up as an issue and say, hey, can we talk about this again? Judge Everett, are you sure? New facts and facts known but not previously argued warrant the court revisiting this ruling. Oh, tell us. What do y'all have, defense? Specifically, during Jason Newland's July 9th deposition, Newland admitted that prior to the warrant for her arrest being issued, Miss Adelson was free to travel and leave the country. Namely, that at the time Miss Adelson purchased her ticket to Dubai and Vietnam on November 7th, 2023, and traveled to the Miami International Airport on November 13th, she was unaware that a warrant had been issued for her arrest, and nothing prevented her from traveling. If you, dear viewer, get pulled over and you had a warrant and you were unaware, are they not going to take you into custody? Is that a strong argument? Additionally, Scott Radius testified at his August 21st deposition that Newland told him that there was no bench warrant for the arrest, so they can leave the country if they want. Finally, Donna Adelson's then attorney advised Miss Adelson after Charlie's conviction that there was no warrant for her arrest and she could travel. Donna's blaming her last lawyer. The last defense attorney also advised that she had an agreement with the state if a warrant were issued for Donna, that Donna would self-surrender to the Leon County Detention Center. Based on these additional facts and concluding the analysis required by both the case law and Section 9403 Florida statutes, Donna requests the Judge Everett look at his ruling from last year. Well, there it is. The Queen Pin has spoken. The Queen Pin grandma has spoken. Charlie just got convicted. I was just going to Dubai and just going to Vietnam. No big deal. It just happened to be the same week. But we had an agreement. If there was a warrant, I was going to turn myself in. She didn't. Next, the witness list. Nearly 60 people are set to testify, including Donna's own children, Charlie, Rob, Wendy. Charlie, already sitting in jail right now, has been convicted of this crime already. Rob wants nothing to do with the family, and Wendy, the former wife of deceased Dan Markell, has testified in nearly all of the trials connected to his murder. We'll also see the return of convicted hitmen Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, along with KDM. Add in digital forensic experts, law enforcement officers, and people close to the Adelson family. It's clear prosecutors are preparing for a full court press. This is especially important because we've already seen Wendy testify during Katie's trial. If you watch my last video on that, you'll remember how her credibility was challenged. Expect those same themes to come up again, only now with much higher stakes for her mother. A specific order. This is not necessarily showing us or giving us clues on who's going to be on the stand first, but this is who the state plans to call. Keep in mind, and we just wrapped up the Karen Reed case, you never know if they're going to call these people, but as one of the preliminary things in preparation for trial that both sides have to do is submit a list on who they plan to call. You may not need this because with trial strategy and going through a trial, things can change. A few retired folks from Tallahassee Police Department, retired FBI, that's going to be interesting as well. A few folks that are repeat witnesses, but I'm really looking forward, and look at this, they have Katie herself testifying. Confirmed that Luis is included. All right, this is as of July 21st. So it has been updated slightly from their previous versions. But remember, although there are 61 names on this list, you may not see all 61. Finally, the digital evidence. Donna and her husband, Harvey, shared an email address.
What about Dan Markell? Did your family like him?
Do you want to specify a point in time?
Well, I'm specifically thinking of a statement you made in the interview after his death, where you indicated that your parents were very angry with him. Is that accurate?
At that point in time, during our divorce, I do think they were angry with him. They felt like he had treated me badly.
And the motion to preclude your mom from having unsupervised contact with your kids, that was still pending at the time of his murder, correct?
That's possible. I mean, I don't think anyone took that motion very seriously.
Okay. Did your mom take it seriously?
I don't think so.
Yes, she did.
Did Dan Markell take it seriously?
I don't know how Danny felt about a motion. If he wrote the motion, he was probably taking it seriously.
There are inaccurate copies of emails between yourself and your mother, Donna Adelson.
They are.
And The email addresses on this exhibit, donnaharvey@gmail.com. Whose address is that?
My parents have a joint email address.
Okay, but you were communicating with one of them in particular and these emails.
Whoever signed the email, but it could be from either or both of them.
How convenient, a joint email address.
I noticed in the emails that your mother referring to, who I think is Dan Markell, as Jibbers. What does that mean?
Jibbers was a nickname that I gave Danny when he was being really difficult and causing me a lot of pain. Was sort of a nickname I gave him to make him feel less threatening.
So it was a derogatory thing.
I wouldn't say it was derogatory.
Did you
Yes, it
call him
was.
that to his face?
No, I called him Danny to his face.
What?
Gibbers would be what? How would you spell that?
I don't know that I ever spelled it out. In the emails, I think it's spelled with a J, but I guess you could spell it with a G.
Jibbers.
That would be one way to.
Ms. Adelson, you had Mr. Markell's phone number programmed into your phone as Jibbers, didn't you?
That's right.
Oh my God, they just caught her. They just caught her. She just got caught. You don't know how it's spelled? No, I don't know how it's spelled. Maybe it could be a J, maybe it could be a G. The judge is trying to clarify. Prosecutor comes out and says, oh, really? Look at her face. And prosecutors have uncovered communications, they say, show the family's coordination. We're talking about emails, text messages that line up the planning, the aftermath of the murder, the TV, the bump, all of it. These kinds of digital breadcrumbs are powerful because they don't rely on memory or interpretation. They show intent in real time. And if the jury connects this to what we saw in Wendy's prior testimony, the picture becomes much harder for Donna's defense team to blur. This is another motion in limine filed by Donna's team, and this includes what the jury can and cannot see, the interpretation of what emails, recorded phone calls, and text messages. Donna, what are you trying to keep out? The threshold question for admission of evidence is relevance. Florida statutes permit lay witnesses to offer opinion testimony in limited situations. If a witness is not testifying as an expert, the witness testimony about what he or she perceived may be in the form of inference or opinion when two things. One, the witness cannot readily and with accuracy and adequacy communicate what he or she has perceived. Oh, they're going to try to paint somebody as a liar. The opinions and inferences do not require special knowledge, skill, experience, or training. During the trial, witness was asked to opine what the defendant meant when the defendant made a statement. The defense objected, arguing the question called for witness to speculate. Why does that sound oddly like Wendy? That his interpretation was irrelevant and the witness was not qualified to offer his opinion. On appeal, the Florida Supreme Court held that as a general rule, lay witnesses may not testify in the form of opinions or inferences. It is the function of the jury to draw those inferences. Therefore, the Queen Pen Grandma respectfully requests that this honorable court grant this motion in limine, enter an order prohibiting witnesses from testifying to their interpretation of the emails, recorded conversations, and text messages. I can't wait until next week. What is the judge going to do? So here's what's next. On August 8th, we'll see a critical hearing where the judge decides what evidence comes in and what stays out. Then on August 19th, jury selection begins. I'll be here breaking down all of it for you every step of the way, gavel to gavel. So make sure you're subscribed and following this case closely. And question for you while you're here. Do you think Donna's travel plans to Vietnam should be admitted as evidence of guilt, or should the jury be shielded from that? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm really curious to see where you land on this. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, give it a like, share with someone following the case. We got a lot more to cover as we count down to the Queen Pen Grandma, Donna Adelson's trial in the next few days. Looking forward to chatting with you guys in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Bye.